It's the penultimate race of the season for the 2021 NTT IndyCar Series. Race 15 of 16 was held at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca for the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey, which was held the weekend of September 19, 2021. Before the race, the IndyCar Series announced their schedule for the 2022 NTT IndyCar Series season. There are some notable changes to the schedule for 2022. The season will start in February, the end of February, the weekend of February 27, starting at the streets of St. Petersburg. The race at Texas Motor Speedway is scheduled earlier in the schedule, the weekend of March 20th. For the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach, we see this legendary race return to its original spring time of the season on the weekend of April 10th. There we would see typical scheduling with the races leading up to the Indy 500 as well as over the summer. The Detroit Grand Prix at the streets of Belle Isle is a single race and not a doubleheader this time. After many of the past seasons, this race being a doubleheader, the weekend of July 17th sees the return to the streets of Toronto. Then the IndyCar Series returns to Iowa Speedway for the only scheduled doubleheader the weekend of July 23 and 24. The weekend of July 30th would be the NASCAR IndyCar doubleheader on the IMS road course. Nearing the end of the schedule, we would see the typical circuits that we have known the past couple seasons, where in the end, WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca will host the finale of the 2022 NTT IndyCar Series season. And one last thing about the 2022 IndyCar Series schedule is that the majority of these races will air on your local NBC affiliate. It continues to give more accessibility to people around the country to watch IndyCar racing. I am super excited for the schedule, and I believe it's a test to see where IndyCar could start in February, and maybe in the future we would see more races in between those first three races. Because right now it's one race in February, one race in March, and one race in April, where we see a long break between races. So maybe in the future they could fill in those weekends with racing. Because the past some odd seasons or so, we've seen an average of just 17, 16 races per season. And hopefully we could return back to at least 20 races per season. That's what I would like to see. I look forward to going back to the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach in its traditional spots in April. And then hopefully in 2022, I'll make the trip finally to Laguna Seca and watch the IndyCars race there. I would really love to see the IndyCars tackle the corkscrew. Alright, let's talk about this race, shall we? The Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. It was another closely contested qualifying session on Saturday where Colton Herta would win pole position. The top two in the points championship saw Alex Palou starting the field in 4th and Pato O'Ward starting the race in 6th place. The start of the race saw a clean start up until turn 3, where we see Felix Rosenqvist spin 360 degrees, getting it pointed back in the right direction and was able to continue racing. Then on lap 2, Alexander Rossi was trying to make a pass on his teammate Colton Herta for the lead, but would be unsuccessful, making contact with Herta and Rossi spinning out into the gravel. Colton Herta managed to keep his car intact. The mover of this race is Romain Grosjean. With his off strategy in the last third of the race, he had fresher tires than anybody else, which helped him get through the field, passing cars for position, passing lap cars to get to the next car in position, and continuing his way up front to catch the leaders. He made a spectacular gutsy pass on Jimmy Johnson. A little bit of rubbing is racing in that pass. It was pretty much a straightforward race. Colton Herta led the majority of the laps, only losing the lead in the pit cycles. Herta would dominate and hold off a close charging Alex Palou to win the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Like I mentioned, Alex Palou was right behind, finishing 2nd, and Romain Grosjean, with his spectacular drive, would make his way up all the way to the podium position, finishing 3rd. With Alex Palou's second place finish in Laguna Seca, it would see him increase his points in the championship. He continues to lead the IndyCar Championship with 517 points. Pato O'Ward is 35 points behind Palou, which he would hope in the final race of the season that Palou would finish poorly or maybe even DNF in the final race. Joseph Newgarden still has a mathematical chance to winning the championship, 48 points behind the leader Palou. Scott Dixon and Marcus Ericsson, who were still in contention for the championship, have now been eliminated from contention after this race in Laguna Seca. Once again, the IndyCar Series sees the final race of the season to be the deciding race for the 2021 IndyCar Series Championship. The final race of the season is the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach this weekend, the weekend of September 26. Television coverage of the race will air on NBCSN. Thank you all for watching this IndyCar recap of the Firestone Grand Prix of Monterey. Please give this video a like, subscribe to the Spillgo YouTube channel if you haven't, to check out more of my IndyCar recaps, as well as all my other variety of videos. And as always, thank you for watching.